Whether you're listening at home, at work, or anywhere, thanks for making Para X part of your day. Your source for everything paranormal, Para X.
And welcome back, everybody, right here to the Paranormal View and the Para X Radio Network. I want to thank everyone for being with us tonight, those in the chat room and those listening from around the world. And I would assume that Barbara's back with us.
I am.
And Jeffrey?
So far. Apparently, hopefully.
And our wonderful guest tonight, Elaine Kuzmeskus.
I'm right back. I'm happy to be a guest on your show. You know, I've been on your show since 2012 doing predictions.
Yes, you have.
Psychic reading, so It's a pleasure to be back again.
So if people would like to get a quick reading from Elaine, what you need is your name and the date of your birth.
That's all. Just first names are fine.
Just first name and date of your birth.
That's all, yes.
Yep. And
because everything changes. The moon changes every 2 hours. The ascendant changes every 4 minutes. So astrology is in flux. So if we have your month, day, and year of birth, I can do a little synopsis for you.
All right. And that sounds good. And I guess what we'll do first is, I know Barbara's probably got a bunch of questions, and I'm going to let her go ahead and ask some.
Well, we were talking earlier about some of the stuff that I wanted to discuss, which was the Jupiter and Saturn leaving Capricorn and going into Aquarius, and I think Pluto's going to be there for some time now.
Oh, it is. You know, I really have high hopes for Pluto going into Aquarius. I do, but it's not gonna be going. I was looking that up earlier. It will be. The Pluto is the outermost planet. It takes 20 to 30 years to go around the sun, so it moves very slow. 246 years to go around the sun, and it stays in one sign 20 or 30 years. So Pluto is not going to be going into Aquarius until 2023, Barbara. To the spring of 2023. And it's been in the sign of a Capricorn, which has a lot to do with organization and big business since 2009. Just about it snuck in 2000 and just the end of 2008. So it's been really creating a lot of tension and changes in the business world, the way we do business, global economy. And I think it's, I don't know if it's really that happy in Capricorn. I feel it will do better in Aquarius. And I think when Pluto does go into Aquarius in the spring of 2023, we're going to have more emphasis on the people, because Aquarius rules the people. And we will be more of a nation of the people, for the people, and by the people, which is what our forefathers wanted. Because when the United States came into being on July 4th, 1776, we had our sun, Jupiter, and Venus in the sign of Cancer, but our moon in the sign of Aquarius, which is a democratic society. So I think Pluto and Aquarius will be good for us, and I think that's when that new technology will be available to the public, 2023. And I think it's exciting. I think it's going to be exciting times for people. And to me, I don't want to get too political here, but I think our reliance on foreign oil has really been to our detriment, and I think that we have been doing a lot to decrease that with the Alaskan pipeline and electric cars and energy efficiency devices. And I feel that once we are more energy independent, this will be very good for things to do with the Mideast, for making us more a country that can handle our own things, which will be very important. So I'm looking forward to that. And I think that by 2023, the COVID virus with the vaccine and our understanding of the virus will be contained so that we can go back to normal, shall we say. In Connecticut, we call it stage 4 is normal. Stage 1 is high alert. So we'll be back to normal.
So you think it's going to take until 2023?
No, I don't. But I think it might take that long to get back to normal. I do. Because just think of 9/11. Okay, 9/11 was over in one day, but it took a couple years for people to go back into New York City again, to feel comfortable. And it totally changed the way we travel. Before 9/11, you'd go through the airport, get your luggage and get on your plane. Now you have to take your shoes off. Everything has to be searched. And that's here to stay.
Right.
And I think disinfecting, being careful of shaking hands, surfaces, how you cough, wearing face masks, staying home if you have a cold. I think that's going to be here to stay. We do. But I think the economy will be back to normal by 2023.
Wow.
Now, the United States is not that we're ever going to have our own personal Pluto returns, but the United States has just had one, right?
Right. And a Pluto return, we should be very proud of that because it takes about 248 years. So we are coming into a new era. And I think it's interesting. What could that be? You could use your imagination. Could it be that we're going to abolish the Electoral College and have direct vote, totally by the people, not be so concerned with states' rights? Could it mean we're having maybe a different type of government? I'm just throwing ideas out. Could it be that we're going to have a third party, or could it mean we're going to have different procedures for election? I don't know. I'm not technologically astute, but we have something on the computer that people could do opinions and things. But it is going to be totally new. I think the United States is going to remain the leader of the free world, at least in my lifetime. And I think we're going to stand for democracy and for values of taking care of our populace. And these are things that people all over the world look up to us. Well, that's why they're coming in by droves with immigration. And we're going to regain our status, I think, when Pluto conjuncts Pluto. But it'll be a new way of doing things.
Now, I got a quick question. You mentioned Pluto. Well,
Yes.
when they said Pluto was no longer a planet, how did that affect astrology?
Didn't affect us one little bit because astrology is ruled by Aquarius. We do our own thing. We don't let that bother us. But this actually happened when there were very few astronomers available, and I think it's too bad because people would very much like to correct that. Whether we will or not, I'm not sure.
Wow.
But the Pluto's going to influence it, even if they call it a planet or a dwarf or whatever. Definitely will influence us.
Okay, Barbara.
Well, we went through the Mars direct thing, which is happening this weekend, and
That's right.
yeah, and as you're saying, it probably won't clear a shadow until December.
Well, it'll be a while. Mars, when it goes direct, we have to go back when it first went retrograde, and then it goes through what's called a station. So let me just see when it first went retrograde. Because it takes a little while for the energy to kind of settle out here. Let's see. Mars, well, it went direct in mid-November on the 14th today, which is correct. So we're going to go back a bit, and it went retrograde at about 24. So when it goes to the point where it went retrograde, then it'll be settled, and that'll be just about Christmas.
Okay.
So
And that's when we have our last Saturn-Jupiter conjunction.
Right, that's good. Astrologers have been talking about this for quite a while. All the astrology books, Mountain Astrology, Dell Astrology, have been talking about this because this is really very big doings with Jupiter and Saturn conjunct. And it's toward the end of December. And what will happen is these two planets will be going together to provide greater energy. And I think this is the new administration coming in. I really do. Like a new cycle, new energy coming in, new ideas. It would be wonderful if all of the great minds could get together and do what they do in business called best practices to see what really works to improve society. and get together and work together so that we can get policies in operation that really work and that can be helpful to everyone. So we'll see what happens.
Well, it's interesting to how the setup goes because I think on January 20th for inauguration, there's also a new moon.
A new moon, right? I think I looked at that. I think the planets on the 20th, new moon, which is good, but there's also some aspects that are not quite as good. So we'll see what happens. Mars, for example, Mars is squaring Uranus. So there could be electronic failures or some changes at the last minute between those two planets. And Mars is also squaring Saturn. So there could be protests. Remember, Mars is our warrior planet. When it squares Saturn, is malcontent. And when it squares Uranus, it could be people may be marching on Washington around the time of the inauguration. It's not going to go smoothly, at least astrologically it isn't.
Okay.
Yeah. So there are good and bad aspects that day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Astrologers feel the day the president takes the oath of office sets the tone for his administration. So there'll be plenty of charts done and discussed in the media on that particular moment. So we'll see what happens. But I'm not I love Jupiter in Aquarius, but it's going to take a while to get that energy in good form. And I think until then, we're going to see more protests, more concerns in January and February. And also, I think there's going to be another shutdown because of the virus. So people are not going to be as happy as you would like them to be during the inauguration. It might be a smaller crowd there or crowd control.
Wow.
Makes total sense. Because, you were talking before about there being a new type of way to run the country, Electoral College or whatever. And we just had the first massive vote by mail thing that anybody's had, I believe. So that's just a new way of voting. So
it is. Yeah. I think the problem, a lot of people are afraid we don't know who puts the ballot in the envelope. So I don't know how that's going to play out. I mean, really think about it. My husband and I went down to the polls in Suffield, Connecticut, and voted in person. I just felt I wanted my vote to count, and I didn't want it to come into question. I showed them my identification. I just felt, I felt I wanted to be sure it was counted, so that's what we did. That's good. That's good, Henry. That's good. It shows, it's important. But I don't know. This has been an old potato that's been talked about for quite a while about abolishing the Electoral College. Some people say that the Electoral College is no longer necessary because our hope, about 95% of our population can read or write, and that it was for people that weren't able to do that. Then, of course, the other argument is you abolish the Electoral College, the states' rights are diminished. So, there are arguments either way. But I personally think that it will be. I'm not saying it should. I'm just feeling we're going in that direction. Yeah.
One of the best arguments for it is there's a great meme where Lisa Simpson has a whiteboard behind her, and it says, "If you don't understand how the Electoral College works, you're the reason."
Oh, I know. Okay. I mean, it actually does give the states more input. So from that point of view, it's good. Yeah.
Well, if the Electoral College was abolished, you'd have California, Texas, New York, and possibly Illinois running the election. All the other states are like, what about us? And they're all like, the heck with you.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'm on the fence about it, but I know that's an argument's been made for many years that it should be abolished. So we'll see what happens. I do think we're going to have big changes in the medical system. I think we are going to eventually, I don't know if it'll be right away, maybe by 25 if a Democrat gets in again. I think we're going to have a one-payer system. where or Medicare for all or something, universal health care is going to, I think it's going to come eventually. I'm not quite sure when, but I feel we're going in that direction. And of course, there are arguments for and against that as well.
Then, of course, there's the CRISPR revolution for medical stuff happening too.
Yeah, I know. So I really feel that the United States really has tried to help everybody, and we'll just see what's the best way to do it. It would be nice if everybody could get at least basic care.
Mm-hmm. So now we talk about people having transits and countries having somewhat transits. Can you look at the United States chart and do solar returns or planetary returns the same way? And this is mundane astrology, which is nothing really I deal with that much. But how would you treat and interpret a chart for a person as opposed to a country?
That's an excellent question because it's different, of course. As we look at a mundane or a country's chart, everything's a little bit different. In an individual's chart, for example, the moon is our emotions, but in a country's chart, the moon represents the public in general. And we also would think of the sixth house as being a person's health, but in a mundane chart, it's the armed forces. So it goes with a different way of looking at it. But, I did take a look, and I'll go through some of the things I picked up on. December 2020, which is coming up soon, after Thanksgiving, shall we say, to early March 2021, we have the north node of the moon squaring Neptune, and the north node is the popular consciousness, shall we say. And Neptune is the cosmic planet. When they're in square aspect, people are, shall we say, shying away from going out in public, and there may be confusion. And I think that's going to bring new travel regulations, trade, and I think many of the states are going to have to go into a lockdown mode or curfews or restrictions on individuals' rights because of the virus and possibly because of unrest. So I think that's coming. And it's not going to last a long time. It's not going to be like the last lockdown, which was almost 6 months. I think it's going to be shorter. It's going to be in specific states. It's going to be handled very carefully. And I think people will be ready for it. I think when it hit it so quickly, I know I was teaching at a college, I teach psychology part-time, and they just told us when we went home for our March break to make sure our students knew that they could get a hold of us on the computer, which I made sure I did. And then they sent me a note saying, all your classes are now going to be on Zoom. So I said, okay. But, it was very quick, and people weren't prepared, and they kind of went into culture shock. But I think now we are prepared. People have things in place. It'll be for a shorter period. And I think we'll get through it okay. And I think by March, things will be pretty much back to what we call where we can go out and enjoy things in moderation. I do think the Democrats are going to roll out a big program, a stimulus program, very soon. I think once Biden is inaugurated officially, I think I would say with less than a month, he'll have a big program to put before Congress regarding the stimulus bill. I think that's going to pass fairly soon. I think people are going to get relief, which I'm very happy to hear. It has to go through. It has to be proposed it has to go through Congress and the Senate. It has to be something where both parties agree. But I think they're going to get started right away with that. I think low interest rates are going to stay down. And I don't think they're going to really significantly go up until 2023. So I think that's good for people that are buying homes and things of that nature. In terms of, I kind of divided into what things we see on the news. They're also, the South Node is in Sagittarius. And I think that this means that we'll see some concern with international countries, possibly Hong Kong, there may be some trouble. Not terrible, but maybe more protests there. And I feel in terms of immigration, They're going to try to bring some immigration reform. I don't think the wall will ever be built, but I think they'll at least have some security on the borders, and they'll have some new immigration laws coming in. We talked about Pluto in Capricorn already, being there from 2008 to 2024. But the key words for Pluto in Capricorn are transformation of wealth and control. So I think there's a profound healing of our relationship with money, work, corporations. We are beginning to realize that we are responsible for our own finances. And I think there's going to be, people are going to be a little more practical until Pluto's in Capricorn. I think when Pluto goes into Aquarius, we'll probably find an economy that's doing better wealth-wise, and who knows, we might even go into like the roaring 20s again. We'll see. Neptune in Pisces from 2012 to 2025. We talked about being positive for medicine. Very good for understanding how to heal without using drugs. I think there'll be more drugless therapies. And you may not realize it, but a lot of the spiritual organizations, such as Christian Science, Theosophy, and Spiritualism, began when Neptune was in Pisces. So I think there'll be more spiritual groups coming up and trying to be helpful, which is important. The big change comes from the planet Uranus. Uranus is in Taurus, and the last time it was in Taurus was in the 1930s. And it brought, of course, it made us very practical because of the Depression. But we also had some very good things while Uranus was in Taurus, new ways of working with finance. President Roosevelt signed the United States Social Security Act, providing for unemployment compensations and pensions. So watch for similar things to happen while Uranus is in Taurus this time. We also find things like new forms of money, such as bitcoins, which came in with Uranus and Taurus. So we'll see how that pans out. As early as February, we may find with Uranus an adverse aspect to Jupiter. I wrote this last year. We would find more malcontent, which did turn out to be true. And I think there'll be new forms of farming, because Taurus rules farming with Uranus in Taurus, which will be very good ways of providing food for people, which is important. I do think that Uranus in Taurus could bring some earthquakes. Probably your least safe area is the California coastline, and the safest places are the Rocky Mountains in Colorado. But astrologers and psychics have been saying this for years, so if you live there, don't be overly concerned. But California is probably, at least on the coastline, we have to be careful. I think if there is any problems, people will be warned. Now, Saturn in Capricorn from 2017 to December 17, 2020 was a reality check for people, and many people downsized during that time. They felt a need to reduce expenditures. With Saturn, of course, I think more money is going to be spent on the space programs, so that'll be interesting. I think it'll be good. I think we're going to find with Jupiter in Aquarius, which the key words are going to be in the year ahead for the people. You're going to hear that mentioned many times. This is the best for the people. This is the best for the general population. This is the best for democracy. Those keywords are going to come in again and again. Now, we talked about Mars, and Mars is interesting. Mars affects our chart as well as our individual charts. And we find that we went through really the toughest time is over with the riots, I think. July 1st, 2020 to January 7th, 2021. Mars in Aries was a very difficult aspect, and there was so much malcontent. No one really seemed happy. And sometimes while they were protesting, you weren't quite sure what they wanted. Like in Portland, they just wanted change, but they weren't really clear about what they wanted for change. And some nice ideas such as defunding the police were bantered, but I don't think they'll do that. maybe we could have community groups patrol instead of outside groups. But I think that it showed that people were unhappy with how things were going. Now, hopefully cooler minds will prevail in 2021. Okay. Go ahead.
I got somebody who wants a reading.
Go ahead. Love it. What's the birthday?
All right. Her birthday is 2/15/1983.
And first name?
Sherry.
Sherry, well, welcome to the show, Sherry. 2/15. So you are born under the sign of Aquarius. But that's not the only planet in your chart. But women born under the sign of Aquarius can be independent. They like to have their own mind, their own thoughts. And you have you're a very different type of sun in Aquarius, because if you're born February 15th, 1983, you have your sun approximately 26 degrees of Aquarius, but your moon is in the beautiful sign of Pisces. So it shows you can be very spiritual, even religious at times, that you're sensitive to others, and you like to vacation close to water. You enjoy mysteries and understanding people. And with your Venus in Pisces, you have a great compassionate nature. Venus is exalted in its best position in Pisces. And many times they're interested in the medical field or the helping professions, because they very much want to be part of the healing process. And when you believe something, you believe it with your whole heart. You really, if you're behind something, you're a person with Mars conjunct Venus, you work very hard to bring those goals into fruition. So with your sun, I would say this is going to be a pretty good year for you. I always like to give good news. I like to give happy news, because Jupiter will be going over your sun. So I would predict some travel for you, because Jupiter is the travel planet. And when it makes an aspect to our sun, we have a lot of energy and we say, let's take a trip. Let's go somewhere. And you'll find the best time for traveling for you this year, assuming it's safe to do so, would be April and May of 2021. And if you don't travel then, don't worry about it, because you have another good aspect for travel, which comes approximately August and September of 2021. So I think if you're going to say the year starts off kind of slow, but it's going to by the spring, and certainly by late summer, it's going to be a very happy period for you. So I'll leave you that with my best wishes for the year ahead.
All right. I now have another one.
Okay.
Let's see what her birth date is. It's from Tabby Cat, and her birthday is 5/14/1955.
Okay. 5/14/1955. We'll take a look at it. Okay. Yeah. So 5/14. So you know you're a Taurus. And I like this. I like most people know their sun sign. Here we go. Okay, 5/14. So you have your sun approximately. You're born on a Monday at 24 of Taurus, and you also have your moon in Pisces. We have a lot of psychic ladies on the show tonight. Very intuitive, mystical. You get hunches that turn out to be true. And with your Venus in Aries, you are very independent and like to make up your own mind. You are the type of person you can make friends very easily, and you also have a sensitivity to other people, which is very strong as well. Does that sound like you? No? She's not on the show?
Okay. She's in on the show, but I haven't seen her post anything.
She's either that or Captain Christopher Pike just beeped yes.
She's not. Oh, okay.
There's a little bit of a lag from the chat, so she's typing now.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
yeah.
She says yes, it's very right.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. Good, definitely. Well, I do horoscopes for people all the time, and I also am doing Zoom classes in astrology if people are interested, and it's on my website, www.theartofmediumship, because I do mediumship readings as well. So every month I post an astrology blog, and the last astrology blog was that I post was for our Sagittarius of the month. Would you like to hear a little more about that?
Sure.
Sure, okay. Our Sagittarius of the month was Sir Winston Churchill. And my favorite quote by Winston Churchill is, "Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts." And he was a wonderful writer. And of course, he brought England through its darkest days during World War II. Winston Churchill was born November 30th, 1874 in Oxfordshire, England at 1:30. And his father was a wealthy British gentleman and his mother was American. He was prime minister from 1940 to 1945 and 1950 to 1955. He was known for his very blunt speech, which is true of Sagittarians. And his moon was in the regal sign of Leo. So he had a sense of royalty about him. And he also had a wonderful lucky planets. He had his moon, which is the mother, Venus, which is love, and Neptune, the cosmic planet, in trine position. So he was very happy in his relationship with his wife Clementine and had 5 children. And he was a prolific writer because he had Mercury making aspects to Uranus. He could be blunt but witty in speech. And I love his dry wit. He said, "If you're going through hell, keep going." I think that's good advice for all of us. And we do need to keep our sense of humor during difficult times.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, we do.
Now, I know we usually have you on every year. And last year, you did make predictions.
Yes, I
what-
said Ruth Bader Ginsburg would step down. Unfortunately, she did step down because she died, but I did feel a weak light with her.
Yeah, and so why don't you tell us some of the predictions that you made that was right and some that wasn't?
Okay, that's a very good thing. I did say the economy would be a roller coaster ride in 2020, and low interest rates would continue. That turned out to be true. I said Ruth Bader Ginsburg would step down, and she did. I felt it would be through illness, but unfortunately she passed over. I said that Donald Trump would face betrayal. I felt he the impeachment would not go. He would be impeached, but it wouldn't go through. He wouldn't be taken out of office. I said Theresa May would step down, which she did. I said taxes were likely to rise a bit, which they did. And I felt food prices would go up as well. That's basically, and I also I felt good with Donald Trump. I think he tried very hard to increase employment, help the stock market, and get the economy going. I did, but I also didn't see the coronavirus. I don't think anyone did. I think that changed everyone's predictions. Yeah, because the virus made it very difficult for the job market, which was going very well. All of a sudden, it was going great, and all of a sudden, people were out of work because of the virus, and the market reacted very swiftly. But, it's back up now, so I think it shows that they're trying to rebuild, which is important. I do feel very, very strongly that even with all the protests and all the anger and all the confusion we have, I think that we're going to really start to rebuild the country and help people as much as we can. And as I say, I think the new technology coming in is going to be very good for America. So I feel good with that. And other people have predicted that as well. if you're into technology at all and you read some of the websites, they talk about all the new inventions and things that are coming out. So we like that. And I like the fact they're going to do some work with the space program once again, because that's kind of been let go for a while. So that'll be interesting. I think they're going to start investigating genetically modified food, so they may change that. There may be more restrictions on what they can do with genetically modifying food. So we'll see what happens with that as well. Yeah. Is anybody else would like me to do their horoscope?
They haven't sent me anything. They send you anything, Barbara?
Well, Jeff did.
Oh, well, good. Let's get Jeff's.
April 29th, 1957.
Okay. 4:29. So here we find a Taurus, 1957. And the thing about Taurus people is they often have longevity because they're an earth sign. The fire signs like to go, 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 but the earth signs know how to balance a little bit. So that's important. And let's see what goes on with that. So your sun is in Taurus, but let's take a look and see where your moon is. The moon is very important. So April 29th and 57, we'll take a look. Here we find you're born on a Monday. You have 8 degrees of Taurus. And you know what? Jupiter going into over your sun is very good. You may be working more before the public. Are you thinking of doing some new projects?
I just finished doing 3. Some of the movie work is coming back.
Oh, good, good. I think it'll be a good year for that.
It may help to know I was 8 a.m. in Brooklyn. My Mercury, Venus, and Moon are all in Taurus as well.
Oh, good. So Mercury, Venus, and Moon in Taurus as well is very good because the Moon conjunct Venus gives a pleasant speaking voice, and Mercury conjunct the Moon gives a good memory. It's considered to be very good for your memory. And Jupiter coming in Taurus, well, I think it's going to give you more opportunities. And do you ever do anything where you do like voiceovers?
I've done voiceovers for animations for one at Slam Dance and all.
Yeah, I felt more of that coming for you. I felt that being important. And I don't see you traveling right away, but I think there will be travel for you in the year ahead because the Jupiter is going to make you want to travel.
I
know. Are you planning to come back to New York?
I'd love to if it's still standing.
Oh, it'll be here. I thought you might be coming back to the East Coast, which is very good. And
my family's in New Jersey, so yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's the East Coast. I see you coming back to the East Coast, so we like that. And we also like the fact that you have your sun and moon in Taurus, so you're probably a new moon person, so you've got double energy. And your Mercury, there are going to be opportunities for travel and opportunities to write. Are you thinking of doing some writing?
I've got 3 scripts in script competitions, 2 of which have won Best Screenplay, and I'm still waiting on the first win on the 3rd, but it has reached finalist status on a couple of festivals.
Well, that's exciting. I would say watch March and April and see what happens then. You might get some good news on the scripts. Cool. So that's always good, too. And I think you like to write, do you?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I have a twisted sense of humor, so I have very dark comedies. They'll seem like they're going in one direction, then all of a sudden they take a really dark turn and get really weird.
That's good. Do you believe in spirit guides at all?
Well, yes. I've got a spirit animal, but I haven't really worked with spirit guides per se.
I do think you've got a writer that's working with you on the other side.
Well, I've often said that when I'm writing, it's like I'm taking dictation.
Right, because I feel like it comes so quickly. It's almost like what a medium would call channeling. And I think when you're doing the script writing, I felt like all kinds of new ideas come in very quickly. So I do think you've got a writer, and I think helping you from the other side. And I think something's going to get you into mysteries. Do you like mysteries or that type of thing?
I do, but they're usually very complex, and a lot of my scripts are short form, like 5 to 10 minutes or short films. But and like I say, the way I write is such a direction that it not tricks people, but it may surprise people. Because, for instance, Bucky, which is made, that's been winning. That's a film I wrote and directed. That has won at numerous festivals. And a lot of people are surprised because it starts out like a normal rom-com, and then it gets really twisted and dark and weird and supernatural and paranormal. And
that's what I mean. I felt somebody helping you with like the paranormal, the mysterious, kind of new age type of topics, which is good. And I think you write best in the morning, do you?
I write whenever the story has been yelling at me to be written.
Okay. Well, I kind of feel somebody on the other side nagging you to write more in the morning.
Oh, good luck with that. You like sleeping.
Well, morning could be noon for some people, but
Well, that's true.
Yeah. But anyway, maybe they're trying to get you up earlier to write more.
Yeah, that's possible.
Yeah.
You got one more if there's time. Yeah.
Good.
I got one more if there's time.
Right, which is good. Yes. Go ahead.
This is for Kathy. She's September 7th, 1961.
1960. Well, Kathy, welcome to the show. Well, you are a Virgo, and we talked a little bit about Virgos. The key word for Virgo is I analyze, because they have a tendency to think about things, to analyze, to use their minds, and they often are interested in writing, teaching, anything to do with the mind is very important to them. And they like to clean. We need more Virgos in the world, I guess. So born September 7th, you're born on a Thursday, you're at 14 of Virgo, and you're not a typical Virgo because your moon is in Leo. So you are a very good sense of humor. You can be dramatic. You enjoy people. And with your Mercury in Libra, you're very polite. You have your Venus in Leo, so you love luxury and the beautiful artistic things of life. This is a very good chart for working with art and creativity. And I bet you were a little bit shy as a child because your Venus makes an aspect to Neptune that shows you might have been a little shy or sensitive as an individual. And you also have a quality which is very strong as we look at this. With your Virgo energy, making good aspects to Neptune and Pluto, that whatever you take on, you give it your all. So you've got a very strong work ethic. And you might also do something with the medical field. Have you ever done that, Kathy? No?
She hasn't posted anything
She
yet.
did. She did work with animals, like veterinarians.
Yeah, they like to. They're healers. They like working with animals, pets. They like to heal. They like to be helping. And I feel she can be generous to a fault with her moon and Venus in Leo. She likes to shine. And there's a quality also which is very strong. And she gets hunches. Like all of a sudden she might have a very vivid dream or intuition. And she should pay more attention to her hunches, I would say. And I would say with her Virgo planets, she is the type of person that likes to stay with the same job as possible. Virgos like to perfect where they are, and that's very important to her. I also feel with her Mars in the sign of Libra that she has some managerial ability. I always call Mars in Libra. Mars is your energy, and Libra is very gentle. I call it the iron fist and the velvet glove because they're very persuasive, they're kind, but they pretty much know what they want to do. So I wish you the best of the year ahead, Kathy.
I think she agrees with you.
Good. Glad to hear that. Good.
Well, we still got a little time left. Barbara, did you want to get one?
Okay. July 16th, 1957.
Okay, good. July 16th of any year you're born under the sign of Cancer. We know Cancer is a water sign, which is very important. And July 16th, 1957, there's a quality with you where you're more intuitive than people realize. You pick up things about people, but you don't say too much because you have your sun in Cancer and your moon would be in Pisces. Are you aware of that?
Yes.
Okay, so you're a double water sign, so your intuition is pretty good and you don't miss much. It's good that you're on the radio because your Mercury in Leo shows a sense of be able to dramatize or talk to people or share opinions. And you love the public, Barbara, because your Venus is in Leo. And those are two signs that show you're not your typical Cancer. You've got a lot of Leo energy and a lot of ability to work with the public and to be dynamic because you have your Venus, Mars, and Uranus in the sign of Leo. So you're never going to really sit still. You're never going to really retire. You're always going to be doing something because all these planets trine Saturn. You like to work and you enjoy what you do, which is good. And you have a very strong devotional nature. Do you consider yourself a very spiritual person or religious?
Not religious, spiritual. Yeah.
Spiritual, very interested in helping others, in spiritual matters, in humanitarian pursuits. And there's a quality where you might have belong to a very spiritual group or very good group circle of women. Would that be the case?
Mm-hmm.
Because it shows your women friends are very supportive of you, and we like that. And with your sun in Cancer, you know you've had a lot of planets opposing you. You've had Saturn opposite. But you know that's not going to last too much longer. In fact, it's over. So things that have slowed you down, 2020, are going to be over, and you're going to have a little more freedom and the ability to go forward. And if you've been worried about finances or organization or things to do with your office or work, I think they're going to go smoother next year because the Saturn will be off. But the nice thing when Saturn's opposite your sun, I always say that's a good time to clean out closets, update your taxes, get your work skills in order because there's not often a lot going on the outside. There should be more going on next year for you, which is good. And your one thing that's good is Pluto does trine your Jupiter. Mm-hmm. We're talking about Pluto, so it's in good aspect to your Jupiter. So you under what we call divine protection, and that's I don't do health readings because I'm not a doctor and I don't diagnose, but that does indicate that you have divine protection, which is often good for health. And if you have any health issues, it brings you to the right doctor or the right remedy. So we like that.
Awesome.
Good. Do you like Ayurvedic medicine or acupuncture or anything like that?
I've tried. Yeah, I've dabbled. I'm in California, so I pretty much dabbled in all of it.
I know. I'm a little interested in alternative medicine in your chart as I looked at it, and you'd be. It would help you a lot because you'd be open to it.
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
Wow. Very good.
Yeah, it's always fun to do readings for people and to get to know my host a little bit too.
Well, I'm way beyond that. I'm too old for anything, probably.
Well, what is your? I have to do your astrology too. When is your birthday?
January 22nd, 1947.
Okay, well, let's see. So you are a very early Aquarius. So let's see. January 22nd, 1947. Here we find you're born under the sign of Aquarius, about 2 degrees, and you're a new moon person. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know
Probably. If you, I don't know. Do you know what time you were born?
I believe it was like 1:22 a.m.
Oh, okay. So maybe you're kind of on the cusp here. So I can't really say the moon because I have to have it exact. But you definitely have your sun Aquarius. I think you snuck in. If it's an AM birth, you snuck in under the old moon, but that's okay. Were you born late or anything?
Not to my knowledge.
Not to your knowledge, okay. So there's also this quality with your Mercury in the sign of Capricorn. And and very close. It's the last degrees of Capricorn, very close to your sun. So you have a wonderful sense of curiosity, do you? Do you like to be in the know?
Sometimes, yes.
Yeah. Or if something's broken, do you try to fix it?
Sometimes, yes.
Like to tinker with things? That's considered to be very good. And you know, you have your Mars is exalted in Capricorn, so you like to work. I hope you're retired or working part-time.
Oh, no, I'm retired.
Well, that's good. I like to hear that because Mars and Capricorn, they like to go, go, go. And sometimes the gentlemen just work too much. But even if you're retired, I bet you never find time to do all the things you want to do.
That is true. Yes.
So because you enjoy your work, and it makes a wonderful trine to Jupiter. It's very good for government work or working in the military. Have you ever done that?
I was in the military for 4 years.
I bet you would like it. You would have been a very dedicated person. And I think public service is very important to you. And I do think, even though you're not planning travel, I do see some travel for you this year. Is there like a special anniversary or a birthday coming up that you might be taking a trip?
No, I doubt if I'm taking any trips, not especially with COVID.
Well, where are you now? What state are you in?
In Ohio, southwestern.
I think maybe it might be more the fall, but I do feel a trip. And I thought you might be going to the Southwest, like Arizona, New Mexico, Texas. If you don't do it in the fall of 2021, I think it'll be the spring of 2022. Is there anything that would take you out in that direction?
Nothing to my knowledge that's out through that way.
Well, how about your wife? Does she like the Southwest?
No, I don't think so.
Well, watch and see, because I felt something may be an interest. And once the virus is over, I think people will travel a little bit.
I would like to travel some. I got some family and stuff like in Pennsylvania and Florida and stuff I'd like to be able to
Maybe
see,
Florida, because I felt wherever it's going to be warm.
It could be Florida.
Could be Florida, because I was going south. So it could be, instead of southwest, it could be south. And Florida's beautiful. I've been there many times.
Yeah, I used to live there.
Oh, you did?
Mm-hmm.
I like the west coast of Florida. We used to go to Bonita Springs.
No. When I was real little, we lived for 1 year in St. Petersburg. And then I lived for a year or two in Daytona Beach.
Oh, yeah, northern Florida. That's nice, too. Yeah. I don't know if I'd want to live in Florida, but it's a great place to vacation. So that might be coming. I think it'll probably be closer, maybe a year, maybe a little more than that. But I do think you are going to travel. But I agree with the coronavirus. I think we all better stay home for a bit.
Yeah. All right. Oh, wow. Barbara, why don't you say something? We're supposed to be gone. I'm sorry. Our time is up. I appreciate you being with us, Elaine. I want you to stay on for a few minutes till after we're off. And let me get this up here so I can close us out. So until next week, we will see you then. Same time. Good night, everybody. You've been listening to the Paranormal View on the ParaX Radio Network. Join us again next week at the same time for more of the Paranormal View.